Welcome to Three Things with JR. You're back. I'm back. It's Halloween. And who cares? It's 1:24 a.m. on Monday, October 31st. It's officially Halloween as I am recording this. And I will just drop this episode as soon as I'm done recording it so that you can listen to it on Halloween if you want. Because in a minute, I'll be talking about Halloween and holidays in general, and some other stuff. First of all, welcome to all of our new listeners that heard me on the Two Old Bucks podcast last week. That was a lot of fun talking to Dave and Del. I have a feeling we'll be doing that again. I would love to be on other people's podcasts. If you have a podcast and you're looking for an interesting guest, look no further. I'm right here. Just send me a note and I'll be there, either in person or virtually. I would love to be a guest on your podcast. And likewise, if you have a podcast and want to be a guest on my podcast, get in touch with me. Come on, send me a message. And we can do this. 3thingswithjr@gmail.com is all you got to do. 3thingswithjr@gmail.com to let me know if you're interested in either way, being a guest on my show or having me be a guest on yours. All right. So there you go. Thanks to Dave and Del for having me on. And thanks to anybody that has now subscribed to this show as a result. Shall we get into some things? I think we should. Thing number one, Halloween. Is it a holiday or not? Technically, it's not, right? Like, nobody gets off work. It's not a federal holiday. School isn't closed. In fact, it's one of those things where, like this year, Halloween falls on a Monday, but it's celebrated either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or Monday, depending on where you are, who you are, and the weather, and all of that stuff. So it's not all that important that it happened on this exact day. So is it even really a holiday? I don't know. As a kid, I had some pretty great Halloweens, getting dressed up and going trick-or-treating. It's some costumes that I remember. I dressed up once as Jim McMahon. And if you know who that is, you're a little bit older. You're maybe a Gen Xer. Jim McMahon was the quarterback for the Chicago Bears the year they won the Super Bowl. The last time they won the Super Bowl, back in the 80s. He was known for wearing headbands that had stuff written on them. So I wore a headband that said "Boo" and dressed up in a Chicago Bears jersey and looked like a football player. One year I went as Indiana Jones. My mom bought an Indiana Jones hat one time, and I got to wear it as part of my costume. Another time I went as a bad surgeon. I think I remember it as a bad surgeon because we sprayed like fake blood all over it as if I had done a horrible job on doing surgery. But I was basically wearing scrubs with blood all over me. So I was a bad surgeon. And that's literally all of the costumes I can remember from my childhood. As an adult, I couldn't care less. Halloween means zero to me now. I mean, what is the point of Halloween? One, candy. I can have candy anytime I want it. And I don't have to walk around a neighborhood to get it. Ghosts, goblins, ghouls, skeletons, all of that stuff, that's a big part of Halloween. Has never interested me in any way, shape, or form. I know people that absolutely love to do the whole spider webs and scary music and, coffins and dead people and cemeteries and dress their yards up or their garage or their office or whatever to look all Halloweenish. Couldn't care less. Interests me in no way, shape, or form. About as much as horror movies do. And when I'm saying horror movies, I'm talking things like Halloween and Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger and all that shit. I mean, it holds zero interest for me whatsoever. Couldn't care less. I like a good thriller, right? Something like Get Out. I think some people referred to that as a horror movie. I don't see it that way. I saw it more of a thriller. Silence of the Lambs, things like that. I'll take a good thriller. Not really into the horror movies. I think they're just dumb. Kind of like professional wrestling. That's where I put those. Carving pumpkins, that's a Halloween thing. We did that when I was growing up. We did it with my kids when I had young children. And every time I was reminded that I'm not very good at carving pumpkins. I could never make them look awesome like other people did. I didn't have the precision that others do with their pumpkin carving. I could do a basic face. Usually I would go for like a big smiley face with like a big toothy grin, like a buck tooth sort of a thing. But I couldn't really get that precise like other people can. I'm just not that good with a pumpkin and a knife. And I don't really have the drive to learn how to be that artistic with a piece of fruit once a year. I don't know. Do these people practice this stuff with pumpkins the rest of the year? I don't know, but I don't care enough about pumpkin carving at all. I do love pumpkin pie, so bring on the Thanksgiving, but as far as pumpkins at Halloween, couldn't care less. What about dressing up in costumes? Yeah, I mean, I can get into that. I've kind of been doing it a bunch this year in 3 different musical theater shows. As if you listen to this show, you know, The Christmas Story, the musical, Something Rotten, and Kinky Boots. And half the fun of that was getting dressed up in character and becoming a different person on stage. And as a newly minted theater person, I'm kind of afraid that all of my new theater friends are going to hate me for this, but I don't care about dressing up in costume outside of that world. I'm just, going to parties, costume parties, I don't care. So just no interest to me whatsoever. Now, I say that, but twice in the last couple days, I sort of was in costume for an event. On Friday night, the local disc golf club got together and we played disc golf at night in town here in Charlottesville at Meadow Creek Disc Golf Course. We had lights on the baskets and glowing frisbees, and we actually play glow disc golf regularly throughout the winter because otherwise you don't get to play much disc golf. And but this Friday night was actually a sort of a informal tournament where scores were kept and prizes were given out, and prizes were given out for best costumes. You got a better score in your disc golf. You got a stroke knocked off if you came and played in costume. And so, you know what I did? I showed up exactly how I had already been dressed. And on Friday, I had a really hoarse voice. My throat had been sore. I've been kind of under the weather the last few weeks, but I didn't have much voice. And so when I talked, I sounded kind of like that guy, Alex Jones. And recently, if you've listened to this show, you might remember, I was recently told I kind of look like Alex Jones. That nutball who runs InfoWars, who just got fined $985 million for claiming Sandy Hook school shooting was a hoax. Yeah, that guy. So I just went and claimed that I was a broke conspiracy theorist nutbag and talked like Alex Jones, and people thought it was funny. There you go. That was me dressing up for Halloween. The very next day, I went to a family party, which was a Halloween-themed kids' birthday party thing, and I went in costume. My costume was a 99-cent red clown nose that I stuck on my nose and claimed I was a bad clown. That's it. I think it was effective. I was accurate. I was a horrible, horrible clown. Acted nothing like a clown, and other than the nose, didn't really look like a clown. You wouldn't hire this clown, and that's the character I was going as. I once did a comedy open mic on Halloween where everybody had to dress up, and so again, I just showed up looking like me and claimed that I was fat Bruce Willis, because I kind of have a Bruce Willis look about me with the bald head and all that, except fat, right? So there you go. Those are my favorite types of Halloween costumes. Ones that I kind of can just say, yeah, this is what I look like. So if I don't care about Halloween, are you curious what holidays I do care about? I was kind of curious. I went to the old Googler and Googled holidays, and let's go through these real quick and let's see. Do I care about any holidays? I kind of feel like most of the year I just don't. I don't care about most holidays that happen. So let's go through it here, starting with New Year's Day. That's a holiday. I mean, I can get into it because it's a day off of work, but I mean, it's just another day and it's a day off work. So that's great. That means I can go play disc golf or go to a movie or sleep in or do whatever else I want. I'm into that. Okay, cool. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I think that's a wonderful holiday. He should be honored with his own day. Do we celebrate it for what it is? I don't think most people do. But I am certainly on board with that being a holiday, and the fact that it is does cause people to think about it, who he was, what he stood for, and what it means today. And, you know, I think his dream is not quite fulfilled, so there's work to do, and that's a reminder of that, so that's good. There's President's Day, which, I mean, it's specifically in honor of like Washington and Lincoln and stuff, but you know, it's weird to think of a holiday honoring our presidents. We're not exactly lighting it up these days with holiday-worthy presidents, so it's weird. Memorial Day. There's one that I have always cared about because growing up in Falls Church, Virginia, it was a big deal. It's a tiny town. It feels like a small town, even though it's surrounded by all of Northern Virginia. But Memorial Day was arguably the biggest holiday in the town of Falls Church. Huge parade. We had a fun run every morning. There was like a arts and crafts fair, like, you know, vendors and stuff selling their wares and good food. And I mean, it was a fun day. Loved it. Continued to go back to the old hometown to celebrate Memorial Day for many years after I left Falls Church. I no longer have any family in Falls Church and zero desire to go back and celebrate Memorial Day in Falls Church anymore. If I was going to celebrate it, I would likely go camping and have done that in recent years. It seems like a great weekend, 3 days built in, no work on Monday. It's always on a Monday. I do love holidays that are always on the same day of the week so that you can count on it, so that it's usually well-timed to give you a 3-day weekend. Have I ever really celebrated it for what it is? Memorializing, remembering those who have died in service to our country. I mean, at the parade, you're kind of reminded of that, but really not much. No, for me, it was just a fun day off of work, out of school, whatever, and that's kind of it. But yeah, I'm kind of into Memorial Day for all the reasons. Google says that Juneteenth is a holiday. Is that official now? It should be. It should have been a long time ago. It's the day that the last of the African Americans were informed that slavery had been outlawed, and it's crazy that took that long. But yes, that should absolutely be a holiday. The actual end of slavery in the United States, I think that's a good one to celebrate. Maybe even more important than the next one, which is July 4th, Independence Day. Of course, it's the birthday of our country. I don't really care about going out to see fireworks anymore. Like, I used to love the fireworks, especially taking the kids out. I mean, I loved it. If I happen to be near some fireworks, yeah, cool. But for me, again, it's just it's another day off of work that I can go do some other stuff, like play disc golf. Labor Day. What exactly are we celebrating here? I mean, we're taking a day off of work, so less labor is done on that day. Are we celebrating workers, unions, the workforce? I don't fully understand what we're celebrating on Labor Day, but I'll take the day off. And I do love the fact that it's always on a Monday. So there you go. Veterans Day. Well, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Veterans Day, I am on board. It's November 10th, though, right? So is it the same day of the week each year? I'm not sure on that one. I don't know enough about Veterans Day to know. Thanksgiving, I can really get into Thanksgiving. I enjoy making food and cooking more food than I can possibly eat myself. So cooking for others and getting together and eating food and being thankful. I think that's probably for me the most meaningful holiday these days. It's the one that speaks to me the most. So yeah, Thanksgiving, I'm into it. Christmas, couldn't care less. I mean, seriously, I would rather be doing almost anything else than actually doing Christmas stuff. I don't care about a tree. I don't care about stockings and lights. I don't care about the actual meaning of the holiday itself. As an atheist, it means nothing to me whatsoever. And I'm not really into all the gift giving, and I don't care if anybody gets me a gift or not. So yeah, not really. And you look at that, Halloween's not even on this list of holidays. So no, there's no reason to care about Halloween anymore. That died a long time ago for me. So there you go. Bah humbug. Sorry about the bummer, everybody. Happy Halloween. Let's take a quick break. I'll be back with thing number 2.
You be you. Take up all the chances and tell your truth. You be you. Don't be afraid, just do what you do. You can show the world the right thing to do. You be you.
Welcome back, and here we go with thing number 2. The Crozet Community Chorus is back, and since I'm not performing any kind of musical theater stuff this fall, I am back. I am singing in the chorus again, and I am loving it. The songs are fun to sing. It is a holiday concert, and I know I just told you I don't care about Christmas, but it is a Christmas-themed holiday concert. I just love singing, and I love singing in a choir with other people, and it's fantastic. We get together once a week to do rehearsal. I actually just spent an hour practicing my songs here at home all by myself, singing along with we have some, online versions where you get to hear your parts and all of that. I'm actually practicing kind of like I would if I was in musical theater, doing my, rehearsing lines and stuff. I'm into it. I'm enjoying it, and I'm really glad I'm back. I hope that I can continue being in choir in the Crozet Community Chorus next year, even once I get back into doing some theater. Hopefully the schedules don't conflict too much. But yeah, we're back for the holidays. We have a concert coming up in December. It's the first Sunday in December at 4 p.m. at the Crozet Baptist Church. And it's going to be a great concert. I believe it's free to go to. If you want to give a donation, great. It either goes to the chorus or the church. But yeah, come on out and check us out. We've got a pretty good concert coming. One song that we're doing this year has it's called African Noel, and it has a djembe drum in it with a very simple beat. And I just found this out at rehearsal last week, and I am absolutely going to ask if I can play the djembe in that song, because how cool would that be? I bought a djembe off of Craigslist like 8 years ago, back when Icehouse Road was fizzling out, and Gary was starting to do some side work, some solo gigs, and I wanted to play music with him, but we weren't, I couldn't play the whole full drum set, so I went and got a djembe. I looked him up on Craigslist. I went and met some super hippie people in what's it called? Belmont in Charlottesville, if you know where I'm talking about, right there by like the local, and back when Belmont Barbecue or whatever that was called. Anyway, downtown in the most hippiest of Charlottesville locations, I met some hippies and bought a djembe. And it's beautiful. It's got beautiful artwork on the side, and I think it's going to go over well. I think it would fit this song quite well. Back when I got the djembe, I then sort of graduated to cajones, and Gary and I played many gigs where he was on acoustic guitar and singing, and I was on the cajon and singing, and man, we played a lot. I kind of miss those days, but this song in the Crozet Choir here is it's a simple beat that I am already practicing. So I'm going to audition to be the djembeist, and hopefully I can do this simple beat and sing this simple song. I will keep you updated on whether or not I get the role of djembe player in the Crozet Community Chorus. But I hope you come out and check us out, because it's going to be a great show. Thing number 3. A few months ago on this show, I talked about our trip to California. Kiki and I met up with her parents and her brother, went all around LA, and then Kiki and I went to San Diego. And in that episode, I mentioned that Kiki had gotten motion sickness and barfed in the Pacific. I mentioned it because I kind of thought it was funny, and I didn't think she would mind. I was wrong. Kiki doesn't really listen to my podcast very consistently. Sometimes she'll do it like on a road trip or something, but most of the time she's not listening. Some of her friends must listen, though, because word absolutely got back to her that I mentioned her barfing in the Pacific on the show. She was none too happy about it. She did that thing where she tried to help me feel the way she was feeling, I guess embarrassed, right? She said something along the lines of, "If it were you that were sick, you wouldn't want me to go telling everyone, wouldn't you?" Well, here's the thing. No, I wouldn't want her to go telling everyone. Mainly because I would want to go telling everyone. Telling everyone isn't the problem. I would want to be the one. Would I mind if she did it? Only because I didn't get to tell the story. I think for her, she doesn't want anybody to know. She doesn't want anybody to tell anybody that she barfed in the Pacific. If it was me, I would be writing a comedy bit where I talked about barfing in the Pacific, barfing up my own chum for the sharks or something, right? I would absolutely tell everybody about it. And I am more than happy to tell you about embarrassing things that I have done. In fact, here's a short list. It's not comprehensive. It's not all-inclusive. There's plenty of other stuff I'm not going to tell you about, or at least not right now. But here's some stuff that could be considered embarrassing for a lot of people. But not for me. I once broke my toe while I was sleeping because of a dream I had where I was kicking a frisbee, and instead of kicking a frisbee, I kicked the wall while I was asleep. I once shit my pants while I was on my way to a comedy open mic in Richmond, Virginia. It's like an 1.5-hour drive, and about halfway there, I thought I was farting. It was not. I had to stop and buy new pants and underwear. Still made the show, and I mentioned it on stage, not that night. I thought maybe that might not be the time to tell people that I just shit my pants, but I waited a few weeks, made a joke or so out of it. Wasn't great. Wasn't a great joke, but I certainly told people about it. But the overall moral of that story, what I learned from that was, don't eat anchovies that have been in your cupboard past the expiration date. I've done this more than once. Same problem both times. Luckily, only one of those times resulted in a total disaster. I pee in the shower. Before we were married, I once sucked the snot out of my ex-wife's nose, and yeah, I swallowed it. And she still married me. All right, last one. I once ate 3 Oreo cookies that had been chewed up in someone else's mouth and dropped into my mouth as if they were a mama bird feeding their young. I did this at a family get-together. It was sort of on a dare. I did it for $10. And that $10 was $10 more than I needed to be paid to do this. I would have done it for the laugh and the horrified reactions from my family. That made it worth it. The fact that I got $10 was just gravy. There you go. I'm more than happy to tell you about other embarrassing stuff, but that's all I got for you tonight. Happy Halloween, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.
You be you. Take up all your chances to tell your truth.